Yo, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Power Sports Network. I'm your host, Jackson Powers, and I sound very excited for this intro, as you guys can tell, because that is about the excitement level that the Colts gave me yesterday. So, I'm sure you know by now, but yesterday, the Indianapolis Colts played against the Green Bay Packers and lost by a score of 16-10. Fun fact, Jordan Love did not play for the Packers, who is their badass starting quarterback. Instead, it was Malik Willis who started. And Malik Willis was just laughably bad on the Titans. And we lost to Malik Willis. So yeah, this, I don't even know. There's just no defending that. That was just god awful. There's no specific person to blame. That was just a horrible team game. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen the Indianapolis Colts played. And I've been a fan for a while. That arguably might have been worse than 33-0. Because at least in 33-0, there was some exciting moments. It was at least history was made that game. There was no history made this time. It was a classic December Lambeau game in September. Yes, I said that correctly. It was a classic December Lambeau Field game in the month of September in 80-degree weather. It was just not a good game. It wasn't fun to watch. There was no redeeming qualities. At least last week we lost, but it was fun to watch. This week, good God, it was awful. So, I'm going to get into my takeaways. First takeaway, my man Anthony Richardson. Now, I know. He did not play good. I'm not going to act like he did. I am the ultimate Anthony Richardson truther, too. And I'm going to remain that way. But he had a rough game. I will say that. He only completed 50% of his passes. He had I think it was 200-something yards. He did have a touchdown pass, but he threw 3 interceptions. Which I really only give him crap for 2 of them because that third interception came on a Hail Mary at the end of the game, so I don't really count that one. But 2 interceptions were really bad, and then the one was the Hail Mary. Now, it really blows my mind that some Colts fans are already out on Anthony Richardson. It's do you guys not know that he's a project? And this is basically his rookie season. I understand it's technically his second year. But he played 4 fucking games last year. And he looked good in all of the games. This was the worst game he played as an Indianapolis Colt. It's not even close. And it was bound to happen at some point. It just blows my mind. Some of these Colts fans out here are expecting him to be Peyton Manning right away, expecting him to be Andrew Luck right away. No, it's not going to be like that. Peyton Manning was bad his rookie year. Andrew Luck, he was different. Andrew Luck was really good his rookie year. Not statistically wise. Statistically, he wasn't great, but he won games his rookie year. He found ways to win. That's why his rookie year was so special. Just because of all the comebacks and all the shit that would happen. Anthony Richardson, you got to keep in mind, that was his 6th career NFL start. Number 6. He's not going to be Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning right away. It's going to take some time, guys. It baffles me that some of you guys are like this. The Colts fans, anyway. He's a project. It's going to take more than 6 fucking games to make him a badass, bona fide quarterback. He's not played a lot of football. He's the youngest quarterback in the NFL. And like I said, he has not played a lot of football. He has all the physical traits to be a badass franchise quarterback, but he's not there yet. It's going to take some time, and we need to be patient. We need to let Richardson grow and make mistakes on the field, because one important thing that happened yesterday was he finished the game. That's 2 games. He's finished both of his starts this year. He's staying healthy. That's the most important thing. We need him to stay healthy, stay on the field, and just grow and learn. Let him make mistakes, because the only way he's going to learn is making mistakes. So that's my rant for the day. We need to be patient with him. And yes, it's very frustrating watching him throw interceptions. I get it. But like I said, this was easily the worst game he's played with the Colts. Because, last week, he didn't blow the stat sheet out the water, but he had a lot of promising shit happen last week. The Packers, they took away the big play. That's why it looked a little more rough. I'm okay with Anthony Richardson taking time to develop now, because after the first 2 weeks of the season, it is very clear that this team is not in a position to win. This team is not a playoff team. This is not a contender, because just the offense was just abysmal. Outside of Jonathan Taylor, it was awful. Jonathan Taylor, he had 100 yards on 12 carries or something like that. He looked really good. Everyone else, though, it was just god-awful. I know Richardson, his numbers weren't great, but it's not entirely his fault. There was so many dropped passes and players slipping on routes, and A.D. Mitchell dropped a really bad pass, and there was a deep ball that Alec Pierce should have caught, but he slipped and had to just bat it down. People that are clowning on Richardson for that performance didn't watch that game, and his inexperience really showed. I will say that. But, like I said at the beginning of this, he's a project. It's going to take some time. It might not even be this year. It might be next year. We have to be patient. And if it doesn't work out by the time his rookie contract is up, guess who's going to be in the draft? A guy by the name of Arch Manning, who, if he comes here, they'd probably build a statue of him right next to his uncle outside the stadium before he even played a snap. But that's really all I got. The offense did not look good outside of Jonathan Taylor. The offense, just a lot of mistakes. It really felt like in that game yesterday, nothing went our way. Everything we tried didn't work. It was just one of those games where nothing worked. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about the offense. Defense, it was abysmal too. I know we only allowed 16 points, but the Packers had 200 yards rushing at halftime. I said before that game, the only way we're going to win is stopping the run. We're going to have to make Malik Willis beat us. And Malik Willis didn't have to beat us. Now, because Malik Willis, he looked good. That's all I was trying to get at. He looked good. But he only had to throw the ball 14 times. He was 12 of 14, had 120 yards, and he threw a touchdown pass. And every time he dropped back to throw, it looked easy because of how just badly we couldn't stop the run. Our defense is bad. We have a bad defense. We thought our defense was going to be our strong suit. No, the defense is atrocious. Even though we only allowed 16 points. If Jordan Love would have played in that game, we would have lost by 50. That's how bad it was. It was just a horrid game all around by the defense. It got better in the second half, but I want to chalk that up to the Packers. They went very conservative in the second half. They played not to lose because their defense was playing really well. And it worked. Because, like I said, the defense, they started stopping the run in the second half. But the Packers got conservative, and that's where the defense looked good. We have a lot of questions to answer. Chris Ballard, you guys know my opinions on Chris Ballard. After the Titans got L'Jarius Sneed, you guys remember the video I posted. If you don't, you can scroll down and find it. I called him a clown. He needs to be fired. It's time. Because every single year, Chris Ballard, he disappoints in free agency. And then once the draft comes around, he drafts really well, and we all sing his praises. Like, he refuses to address the biggest glaring needs on our team. We've just got so many problems. Our secondary is atrocious. Front seven's not looking good this year. Our receivers, meh. I like Michael Pittman, don't get me wrong. But the more and more I think about it, the more and more I think Michael Pittman is not a wide receiver one. I think Michael Pittman is a very good wide receiver two. And we need a true wide receiver one. We need a GM that's going to be aggressive in free agency. Because look at every other team in our division. The Texans, they were hell of aggressive in free agency. They got so much better. They gave C.J. Stroud another weapon in Stephon Diggs. He already has great receivers to throw to in Nico Collins and Tank Dell. They got Joe Mixon. He's looking pretty good. Dalton Schultz, he looks pretty good in that offense. Their defense is very good too with Danielle Hunter and obviously Will Anderson, who they drafted last year. And the Texans, they've been very aggressive, and it's working out for them. I mean, right now it's at halftime of Sunday Night Football when I'm recording this, so you guys know the results of the game by the time this comes out, but they've probably won, if we're being honest. The Jags, they paid their quarterback. The Titans, they were aggressive. The only bright side about yesterday is that the Titans and the Jags lost also. So there's 3 0-2 teams in the AFC South right now. The way it's looking, I think that the Texans are going to run away with the division because, dude, it's bad. And the last thing I want to talk about is our special teams, specifically Matt Gay. Matt Gay sucks. We need to cut his ass. We have a kicker on practice squad in Spencer Schrader who is better than Matt Gay. I don't know why the fuck we keep insisting on having Matt Gay kick. We pay Matt Gay too much goddamn money to be missing field goals because he missed a very crucial field goal in the second half of yesterday's game. It was like a 50-yarder, but the score was 13-3 at that point. If he makes that field goal, it becomes a touchdown game. And honestly, the way the Packers were playing in the second half, we definitely could have won if he makes that field goal. But he completely fucking shanks it. And then it's like, dude, you are one of the highest paid kickers in the NFL. You have no excuse to be missing that field goal. Like, aside from that Ravens game last year, Matt Gay has been incredibly inconsistent. Matt Gay has had one good game with the Indianapolis Colts, and it was that Ravens game where he hit 4 50-yard field goals. There's so many Matt Gay truthers, it blows my mind. He's not a good kicker. He's way too inconsistent for the amount we pay him for. We have Spencer Schrader on the practice squad. I think Spencer Schrader is way better. And that's not just because of my Notre Dame bias. I thought he was god-awful at Notre Dame. But he's looked very good in the preseason. Last week, he had to kick. He didn't kick any field goals, but he made his extra points right down the middle each time. And, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of questions this team has to answer. Gus Bradley, he needs to be fired. His defense is atrocious. Chris Ballard needs to be fired. Yeah, that's really all I got. Those two need to be fired. I think in the offseason, there is a good chance that we just completely clean out the front office and just restart. Because something needs to change. We have, Chris Ballard he has to be the problem here. Because this is probably, the most talented roster we've had in a long time. And Chris Ballard's been the GM for 7 years now. And we've been to the playoffs twice in that time. And, yeah, I get it. Andrew Luck retired, and that threw a wrench in everything. That was 5 years ago. 5 years ago in NFL time is 20. We should have had that problem fixed by now, and we don't. We're just now getting around to drafting a quarterback and working on him to be the future franchise guy. This is something that should have happened 4 years ago. But no. Chris Ballard just is so stingy. I don't know. I'm out on Chris Ballard. This is a longer recap, so I'm going to go on ahead and wrap it up. I know a lot of it was just me ranting, but next week we play the Chicago Bears, who are playing the Texans right now. hopefully we can bounce back and at least be competitive in that game. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to is hopefully the offense looks better. Hopefully the defense looks better. I'm honestly not even looking for a win at this point. I just want to be entertained because clearly this team is not ready to win. They're not a contender. So I think we need to shift the focus of the season to just making Anthony Richardson look better and making sure he improves. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this episode on the Power Sports Network. If you guys enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss an episode, and follow everything in the description box. I have a feeling this is going to be a very long season for the Indianapolis Colts. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.